Hi, welcome to Java Coding Assist. This is a part 2 of how to secure a REST API using custom authorization server. If you are watching this video directly, please do watch the part 1 of this topic where we have discussed how to create an authorization server and how to obtain token from that authorization server. We have also discussed about the various grant types of the OAuth authorization server in that video. In this video, we are going to create a simple REST application and see how to use the access token to get the resources. First, we can create a sample REST application with these dependencies: Spring Web, Cloud Security and OAuth 2 for security, JPA and H2 database dependencies for accessing the database, and Spring Dev tools. Let's generate this application and import it in Eclipse. I have imported the sample application into Eclipse. This is a REST application. We are now going to see how to convert this REST application into a REST resource. This utility is the actual resource we are going to get through this REST application. It has a utility ID, utility name, a set of users called utility providers, and a set of users called utility consumers. We then have a controller to access this utility, and then service class and a repository to access the database. To make this REST application a OAuth 2 resource server, we have to create a new configuration class that extends the resource server configurer adapter. This is a configuration class, and we have to use the enable resource server annotation so that this application will be configured as a resource server. Next, we have to override two of its methods: configure HTTP security to configure the access to the endpoints, and configure resource server security configurer to configure the resource ID to each resource. Each resource will be having a resource ID. We have to configure this resource ID to the resource server security configurer so that each resource will be identified using this resource ID. Resources.resource ID of resource ID. Next, we have to configure this HTTP to control the access to the endpoints. Here, what we have configured to HTTP is any anonymous request will be disabled, and any request that is authenticated will be authorized to access this endpoint. Here you can just fine-grain the access control by adding the HTTP methods to the ant matchers and by using more specific paths, and also here you can use has any authorities or any roles be more specific about the access control. So this is how we control the access to the resources. But here we are making it very simple, like if they are authenticated, then they are authorized to access this endpoint. And in case of any errors or exceptions, this OAuth 2 access denied handler will take care of that error and exception, and it just returns the error response to the client application. Whenever a REST application that is secured using this OAuth server receives a request, it verifies the request with the authorization server. It contacts the authorization server and verifies the token, and then it grants access to that user. To do this, this REST application must itself register with the authorization server as a client so that it can verify its own tokens. For this, we need to do some configurations in the applications.properties. That is, we have to give the client ID and secret for this application, and also we have to specify the endpoint where the token has to be verified. We have to give the check token endpoint in token info URI, and this is where the application, that is the OAuth server, is running, and this is the check token endpoint where the token will be verified. And next we have to give the user info URI, and this is nothing but the endpoint where we can access the resources from the resource server. This is where the resource server is running, and this is the endpoint where you can access the resources. As I said before, this application should have already be registered with the authorization server so that its details will be available in the client details that is available in the authorization server. We can just recheck that once. If you see the OAuth client details table, you can find a record for the client, utility bar and the other informations related to the client. So now we are done with this resource server. We can just start both the authorization server and the resource server and get the access token from the authorization server and use it to get the resources from the resource server. Let's first get the token, access token from the authorization server. This is the endpoint to get the access token and the method is post. Under the authorization tab, we are giving the client ID and client secret, and in the body tab, we are giving the grant type as client credentials. As we are not accessing any user specific information, we can use the client credential grant type. Let's send the request and get the access token. We got the access token. Now we can just use this access token to access the resources from the resource server. So this is the endpoint to the resource server where we get a list of utilities. Under the authorization tab, we give it as OAuth 2. In headers, we have to specify the authorization keyword and followed by bearer space and the access token. We didn't get the resource actually. Instead, we have got an exception. If you check the exception, we have got the HTTP client error exception forbidden. That is, we got a forbidden error message for this endpoint OAuth check token. This is the endpoint which we use to verify the token, but we have got a forbidden message. This is because this endpoint is secured and we didn't get access to this endpoint. We have to modify the access control so that we can get access to this endpoint. We have to do this in the authorization server application. In this authorization server config class, we have to configure this in the authorization security configurer. The endpoints to the authorization server is secured. We have to get access to this OAuth check token endpoint, only then we can verify our tokens. For that, what we have to do is we have to modify this security dot check token access. Here we have to tell that whoever is authenticated can access this endpoint so that we can verify our token. Now we will be able to access that endpoint. Let's go back and check that. As we had updated the authorization server, we have to get the access token again. We can use this access token to get the resources. Let's send the request and see whether we get that. Now we are able to get the resources from the resource server. We get the list of utilities. We can also see the other endpoints too. So now we are able to get the resources from the resource server by verifying the access token with the authorization server. This authorization server has some user information. So if you want to access any user specific information, that is the user's email ID and other stuffs related to user, we can just get it from the authorization server itself. For this, we have to make this authorization server as a resource server too. To do this, we have to create a configuration class that extends the resource server configurer adapter and make this as a resource server too, so that we can access the resources from this authorization server itself. Let's create a new class, user resource server config, that extends the resource server configurer adapter. This is a configuration class and we have to use the annotation at enable resource server so that this application will act as a resource server too. We can configure this user resource server in the same way as we did for the utility resource server. We have to give a resource ID to this resource and configure this resource ID in the resource server security configurer. Then we can also configure the HTTP security. Any anonymous requests are disabled and any request that is authenticated is authorized to access these endpoints, user resource endpoints. and the exceptions are handled by the auth to access denied handler. So now we have configured the resource server so that we can access the user resource from the authorization server itself. Now in order to access the user resource, we need to create a controller service and JPA repositories for the user resource too. So we have created a user resource controller where we can access the user's resource, a user service and a user repository too to access the user's resources. Now let's run the application and test whether we are able to get the user specific information from the authorization server itself. Let's get the access token first. We have passed the client ID and secret, and here we can change it to password. Now the grant type is password, and here we have to pass the username and password. We got the access token. We can use this access token to get the resources from the authorization server itself. The authorization type is auth2, and in the headers we have to give the authorization key followed by bearer space and the access token. This is the endpoint where we get the user's resource. Let's send the request and get the user's resource. So now we are able to get the user resource from the authorization server as it is acting as a resource server too. Till now we have seen how to create an authorization server and how to get access token from it and how to use that access token to get a resource from a REST application. We have also seen about the client credentials grant type, password grant type and refresh token grant type. We have one more grant type, that is the authorization code. We can see that in the part 3 of this series. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Thanks for watching. Bye.